Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. We have a great announcement to make, we believe, and we're proud to announce that Waterbury is going to host the first food hub in the state of Connecticut. We hope. We're working on it through the great efforts of Sue Pronovost and Brass City Harvest. We were able to secure 2 grants that we're announcing today. One is through the Federal Department of Agriculture, which is a $24,000 grant, and we're combining that with a $41,000 grant from the State Department of Agriculture. And we're going to use that money to develop and design a food hub. So what's a food hub? Well, our vision of a food hub is a 40,000 square foot building that will be a hydroponic growing center, similar to the small one here. It will also have classrooms inside of it so that we can invite our students and educate our students on growing, which I think in this youngest generation today is a lost art. Not that many people have gardens like we all did when we were kids, not to date ourselves, but if the garden had a bad year, we looked a little thinner. The truth is, we've been looking at this through Brass City Harvest for a number of years. We took a ride with the Commissioner of Agriculture and Sue to Pawtucket, Rhode Island a few months ago and looked at some operations there. We got excited about what we saw there. We got excited about how the community was supporting the food hub. We were very excited about this particular site and the stakeholdership from the residents in this immediate vicinity, particularly the elderly, by the way, who have come here and grown the fresh produce with their children and grandchildren. And it's been a fun thing to watch. And of course, we have the fish tanks here as well. I guess what I'm saying is that this little learning curve has really flourished into something we believe is going to be very exciting in the development of this food hub. The food hub, in addition to being a growing center and an educational facility, will also house a farm market where we'll sell our produce, but we'll also have about a 5,000 or so square foot cleaning or washing area. So the federal government has passed some pretty stringent guidelines about, because of E. coli outbreaks, about making sure vegetables and produce are washed and washed and washed before they finally make it to Stop and Shop or ShopRite or wherever they get to. And so part of the concept of this food hub, working with our growers in the immediate area, particularly some of our friends in Cheshire, is to have this area where we can wash this produce and vegetables. So it's a multifaceted concept, and for me, another big plus is that we've targeted a lot right around the corner here, off of Mill Street and River Street, that is a brownfield, and we're going to locate this food hub on this brownfield that has been vacant and empty for decades. And in addition to all of those good things, this neighborhood in particular, I think most would agree, has been somewhat neglected. We'll put it kindly, over the last several decades. And we really, through the efforts of the state representative here, Victor Cuevas, Jerry Reyes, Senator Hartley, we have really focused on the south end of Waterbury over the last 24 months to really recognize that this area is very deserving of development and remediation. As you all know, 313 Mill Street across the street burned to the ground just a couple of years ago, and we got that building down, and we're in the process of remediating that property. Follow the river down to South Main Street is the targeted area where the food hub will be. We also have an area where we're going to have what we believe will be open space for recreation fields that are sorely needed in this area. and then we'll go around the corner to 777 South Main Street, which will be the front portion of Food Hub, and as well as 835 South Main Street, which is the old Waterbury Buckle area. We have big plans for remediation there as well. We're undergoing phase 1s and phase 2s, and some phase 3 work is being done on the environmental side. So there's a lot happening in the south end of Waterbury, and again, I give the credit to the state representative here, who is in his second term and really has worked tirelessly with our partners in Hartford to get these projects off the ground and moving. Governor Malloy has dedicated more than $30 million in addition for brownfield remediation for this fiscal year. So we're up to $40 million in the state. Waterbury has been fortunate enough to receive monies in that area and commitments for future pre-development plans using some of that funding. So this is a good story to tell here today. And also, let's not forget about the economic development side. We're going to be creating jobs, and people will be working in this food hub. Hopefully there'll be people from this immediate neighborhood and the region, but we're really excited. I see Jamela here from Taft School, and we're going to make this a real community food hub, really exercising our students to be deeply, deeply involved in this process. So working with our public school children, our partnerships with schools like Taft School in Watertown, our PAL organizations, and all of our other nonprofits, we're excited that this is going to be something very, very special, and very special for this neighborhood as well. So I'm going to now turn it over to the girl that really is the rudder of the ship, the one who really is solely and primarily responsible for educating me in this area that I didn't know much about, quite frankly, except for my garden in my backyard. But really exciting times here. Sue Pronovost, the head of Brass City Harvest. Come on up, Sue.
Thank you, everybody. Today is a true watershed moment for the city of Waterbury. And it's a watershed and a landmark that will be built here in the South End. But it's going to be a legacy for the city, for this mayor, for Brass City Harvest, the first food hub in the state of Connecticut. We're the only state in the Northeast that doesn't have one. And very simply, as the mayor outlined it, it's going to be a place to aggregate, distribute food. What's important about this food hub is that it's going to enable the state's growers who are trying to meet new and emerging markets. Waterbury, center of the universe in the state of Connecticut. We're on 8 and 84. We're halfway to Boston and Manhattan. Farmer today who wants to sell to a Manhattan restaurant, hospital, what have you, has to meet new federal standards for food safety. A lot of them don't have the equipment, they don't have the potable water supply, they don't have the staff to handle the new, what they call FSMA requirements. Come to us, we'll take care of you. It'll be a food bay rental where they'll come in, wash their product, package, off they go. So that's going to take personnel from our side to hire people, hiring people who can learn how to pack, how to make up pallets, how to load trucks. Very simple skills, but very needed in this community, right up to the sanitarian who's going to oversee the actual wash bay procedures. There's going to be an opportunity for a farmer who has an excess of product to diversify and use our facility for co-packing. I've got in our farmers market right now a vendor who has to take his product to the Hudson Valley to co-pack. Why? Why do those dollars have to leave the state of Connecticut? They should come back to the state of Connecticut, and better yet, they should be in the city of Waterbury. Create jobs here, revenue here, and that guy will save money by not having to go to the Hudson Valley. So as we move forward and we work on our design plans, you can see in yellow here the outline of the land as proposed. And truly, this will become, in the south end of Waterbury, a nexus of economic activity. We have a watercolor rendering, and this was done based on a square piece of land. We're going to wind up changing the building as we go to work with the tailoring of the land that we have available to us. It's for the generosity. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. Brass City Harvest knows no better friend than the city of Waterbury. We are here and successful today because of the city of Waterbury. This project, this innovative project, is the work of Mayor O'Leary, and my best friend in spearheading this whole project is Senator Joan Hartley. She's a tiger. She's been my rock. And our next best friend would be Commissioner Ravitsky and the Connecticut Department of Agriculture. Again, they help build our business, and we're very grateful. And at this point, I'd like to turn this over to Commissioner Ravitsky for a few words.
Good afternoon. It's great to be back in Waterbury and here with Brass City Harvest. You know, projects like this don't happen by accident. They happen because there are true partnerships between local government, state government, and federal government, and partnerships with private nonprofit partners and the private sector. So what this project envisions is something that has been talked about a lot at the Governor's Council for Agricultural Development, to build new and better opportunities to grow Connecticut farms and to grow Connecticut agriculture. This will provide an opportunity to aggregate product, to do some light processing, and to get that distribution that's needed to be able to enter markets across, whether it's farm to school, farm to institution, hospitals, colleges, universities, restaurants. All of that stuff can't happen without the opportunities to bring stuff together, to do the light processing, and then to get it to where it needs to be. This project, as the mayor talked about, and again, these things just don't happen by themselves. It takes the energy of people like Sue, the engagement of a knowledgeable mayor who's willing to commit to projects like this, a committed delegation to the General Assembly, a governor who gets farming and agriculture, and then helping hands from a lot of different parties. What this project envisions is not only the nuts and bolts of moving agricultural products from farm to consumer, but also has the educational component. And we all know that people have lost touch with where their food comes from. So having the opportunity to educate children so that they know not only where their food comes from, but how to prepare food and how to put fresh, local product on their plates, it's all a good thing. It is a win-win-win all across the board, and my hat's off to the folks from Waterbury. We at the Department of Agriculture in the state of Connecticut, on behalf of Governor Malloy, thank you very much for your commitment.
Thank you. Now call on Senator Hartley. Say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. This has been a great day for the city of Waterbury. We just left a site up on the north end where we are talking about the renovation of the only co-op in the city of Waterbury to affordable, accessible housing. And now to top it off with this event, which I could not be more grateful and proud of the people in this lineup. And I have to start out by saying, so if you haven't ever worked with Sue Pronovost, let me tell you something. Just get ready, okay? Saddle up, because I started working with Sue when she was the president of the White Collar Union, the city of Waterbury, in a year called 2000. And we remember the year called 2000. And at that time, Sue was what Sue does best, an incredible advocate. She then quickly transitioned into her new role. She was with the Greater Waterbury Ministry, working there at the soup kitchen. But Sue always dreams incredible things. And from there, she moved on and formed Brass City Harvest. And Brass City Harvest brought us the farmers market, not just on the green, but it brought us 12 months a year of farmers market availability. She was down on Grand Street in Waterbury in the off season. She worked with Wholesome Waves, where we then and worked with the Commissioner of Ag to try to expand the program to allow seniors to have double coupons, to allow vendors to bring their goods in to a farmer's market and not actually be there. And the commissioner and his staff were incredible in understanding a model that you basically hadn't blessed before. And with lots of persuasion, you were wonderful, and we have reaped the benefits in this community. And here we stand in one of a number of greenhouses that Sue Pronovost has brought to the city of Waterbury. She has engaged the youth, she has engaged the seniors. So it wasn't that long ago when I was over to Fulton Park, Mayor, and we went over to the greenhouse in the back, and I said, "Where's Sue?" I was looking at the gardens, all the raised beds. These were brown fields. And they said, "Oh, Sue's over here, she's coming out." Well, Sue didn't just come out, she come around the corner in a big tractor, a Caterpillar. I was like, well, where'd that come from? Well, a grant. She knows how to get it done. And so whatever investment you give Brass City Harvest, you know that you will reap a dividend 10, 20 times over. And so that brings us to today. And the commissioner said it best about the partnership. You know, we talk about a lot of things, complete streets and so forth. This is the most complete project that I have ever seen. The city of Waterbury, through the mayor's office and his incredible vision, to see through some really tough times in getting things started, and no pun on words, but to seed this thing. And so to get us the actual site upon which we will then be able to grow this thing and leverage resources. The congressional delegation, I want to say that Senator Murphy, Senator Blumenthal, Representative Esty have all gotten it. They see it. And guess what, guys? We're coming back. But it's been a wonderful working relationship. And to my colleague, Victor Cuevas, who is great to work with and a wonderful advocate. It's just been such an incredible project, and it is one of a kind. There is nothing like this in the state of Connecticut, and Sue had the wherewithal to figure it out with this much resources and to figure out how to leverage it. And that's what we're talking about today, the start of that, and that will be leveraged and will turn into a project that has iterations on it. You're talking about a food hub in a food desert. You're talking about jobs. You're talking about education. We're talking about people getting accustomed to having greens and salads and so forth, as opposed to gummy bears. Let's be honest about that. That's what this is. That's what you get in a bodega. I walk in and I watch everybody come out. And I even have these conversations with the Kmart people. It's like, get these big stations of Doritos out of the doorway. Let's have some bananas or something else. But that's what Sue sees, and that's what she does. So anyway, I couldn't be happier to be able to be a small part of this, and look so forward to this ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So we're going to last hear from State Representative Victor Cuevas, but before we do, I just want to acknowledge the presence of Alderman Paul Cicchetti is here, Alderman Victor Lopez is here, our neighborhood council is here, working closely. I think it's great to have our neighborhood council here because this is, this is not just unique to this section of the city. As you know, we do have other garden sites throughout the city, and I think it's been a wonderful experience, and certainly happy to have our partners from the Connecticut Community Foundation here as well, who have been extraordinarily supportive of every initiative that we seem to come up with, because I guess we finally have built a great level of trust and credibility with the foundation, and as Joan had mentioned, the dividend on the investment has been phenomenal. So without further ado, State Representative Victor Cuevas.
So welcome to the 75th District, and I have to tell you that, I got to tell you a quick story about Sue. So Joan, who is my mentor, and she's fabulous, she's a stellar leader in Hartford, and I remember Joan said, you got to talk to Sue, you got to talk to Sue. And Sue was downstairs during session, and we were having hearings about agricultural stuff, and she's working it, and she's sitting in the stands, and we sit up in front, and the camera's on, and she's pulling us one at a time out of the room. Jeff, Joan, me, one at a time, just having that conversation, to have that dialogue, to educate us, because obviously we don't know it all up there. And in this field, agriculture, I'm a little bit lost. I did learn quite significantly when she had the conversation about this project, but you know, Waterbury has a lot of projects and a lot of things going on under the leadership of Mayor Larry, and I have to tell you, his leadership is transformational, but in this in particular project, I have to tell you that your vision and your transformational understanding of a deteriorated area that has been basically left to be ghost town, like the mayor said, it's a great thing to see that everybody's coming together and seeing the vision that it needs to be done. And this is not only going to help the neighborhood create, you know, jobs, but I think the educational perspective, we have 4 schools in the surrounding area. I also want to recognize that Sue collaborates with the nonprofit organizations within the community. Currently, the Hispanic Coalition is located in the River Ball and Rec Center, where the seniors come over here and do some things as well. So Sue's already ahead of the curve. So again, thank you all for the collaboration, and like the chief said over here, we're coming, Ken. God bless you.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much. I also want to point out Director of Health is here, Mr. Quinn, which we're thrilled to have him here as well. So thank you all. Thank you very, very much.